Sup, wangers? Welcome back. Wing Magma is back up in your grill. I hope you're well. I hope you've missed me somewhat. I have missed doing this, believe it or not. And I really am looking forward to getting back into it. But I think a few things will be different this time round. I stopped... Oh, God, it was a while ago when I stopped doing it. And the reason I stopped is it just became like hard work. I was kind of doing podcasts for the sake of doing podcasts. The original concept for the Wing Magma podcast was so that I had content to kick out to promote the music that I was doing. The music that I was doing was taking a lot of my time to do, and I wasn't entirely happy with where it was going, in all honesty. Like I did the one track, Memory Holes, which, you know, I wrote a long time ago, and a lot of the stuff that I was working on was songs that I just haven't done anything with yet. And I wasn't particularly proud of it. And I think, you know, if it's just me and I can't hide behind anyone, the music that I put out surely has got to be stuff that I'm really proud of. And some of the recordings that I'd done and I just didn't like. So, like, there was no point in me putting it out. So I didn't. Simple. And then Bronze Age got back together, and to be honest, that's the music that I want to be writing anyway. That was always my favourite of all my bands that I've been in, and I'm just very excited that we've got that up and running again. So the music of Wing Magma kind of took a very much a back seat, and then you know, what is there to podcast about? You know, so the central nucleus, the yolk of Wing Magma wasn't there, and then you're just left with goo and white. So I just thought, fuck it, I'm just gonna pull the plug. And obviously then I say obviously, I don't expect everybody to know about it, but I had my third child. I didn't have my third child. We have a third child in the family, brought to the world via my wife Sarah. Harry, he is about 9 months old now, or nearly 9 months old. So, I mean, that obviously takes up time. He takes up time. But I do want to get back on it. I do miss the podcast. I miss putting stuff out. I miss having a platform to chat about music. I'm certainly listening to less music as a result of not doing the podcast, so I want to get back on that. But I think things are going to be different this time round, right? So my plan for this is to have Wing Magma is the brand. Wing Magma is the umbrella, and underneath that are all kind of my musical goings on. So rather than it all just be about my solo music, which I don't tend to put a lot of energy into anyway, I'll talk about all of the music that I'm up to. So hopefully there'll be some solo stuff. You know, I still tinker about in here and do bits and bobs. But you know, Bronze Age is my main musical focus, as is the covers band, you know, that I'm actively in. So I'll be talking about those things. And then, so I feel like I'm going to have sub-categories, sub-flavours of Wing Magma. So the first one, and if I could be clever and put it somewhere, I'll do that. The first one is just going to be what I'm calling Original Flavour Podcast, right? So this will be episode 1 of the Original Flavour. So that is just me giving people an update as to what's going on. It's some sort of blog, vlog, plog. It's just an update. It's just like what am I up to? What am I listening to? That kind of stuff. I haven't done a Wednesday Wang playlist. Not decided if I'm going to do that or not. Might do. Very well might do, but I'm certainly not for this episode. So they'll just be the regular podcast. Now, if I do that weekly, there might not be a lot to talk about, so I might do that bi-weekly. I don't know. Right? So, Original Flavour Podcast. The next thing on my list is the Lone Wolves review. Okay, so there's a few of my friends, Tim Carter and Tom Eve. We have threatened to do a podcast for a long time, and we started by like picking 10 albums that we all really love, and then we were going to talk about them. So I feel that we can do that under this umbrella. So I've got the platform, I've got the outputs, I've got the channels to kick it out on. That podcast will be the three of us chatting about favorite special albums of ours, things that we're listening to, whatever we want. And collectively, we are known as the Lone Wolves because we're fucking cool. And that's it, really. So there'll be that version of the podcast. How often, how regular, don't know. Don't ask. There's another thing that I've been doing this year, and it's all based around a book called 1001 Albums to Listen to Before You Die. The challenge is to listen to all 1001 albums in order. You know, no skipping. You got to listen to them all. That has been very, very interesting, and there's lots of good stuff to talk about. I'm about 90 odd albums in at the moment, but I've been going through and making notes, and I think there's a few standout albums that I can talk about there, but I can also just take people on that journey. It's fascinating, it really is. It's because what you hear when you do that, you hear a lot of jazz to begin with. It starts in 1957, and there is a lot of jazz. But you hear the evolution of pop music. So when you hear an album like Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, in the context of when it was released, it takes on new forms. So that's quite an interesting topic. And then in conversation with, I still plan to interview people. I got a lot of joy from interviewing the people that I did. I think there's more conversations to have. And I'd like to carry on doing that. So there'll be an In Conversation with Flavor podcast. And Wang Migma's Thoughts On. So Wang Migma's Thoughts On will just be me reviewing stuff. I've watched a few things. I want to review a few things. You know, it might be an album that I've listened to. It might be a musical documentary, or what was the Sex Pistols thing? I watched that, and I'm going to review that and give my thoughts on it. Not just that, I'm sure there'll be other things. And then, you know, I might just start putting some covers out, because of the stuff that I'm doing with the covers band. Obviously, I have to learn cover songs. I'd like to have music kicking out. The quickest route to do that is by covering stuff. So, like, if there's ever an interesting cover song for me to put out, I will do that. So lots of different things to be going on, lots of things to be talking about. You know, the covers band is very active. Bronze Age has a gig coming up. We're writing again. We've got a couple of new things on the go. Learning the old stuff is challenging, but you know, I'd like to have regular updates from that rehearsal room, depending on what I'm up to in there. So I think there's more content to talk about if I just take Wing Magma, you know, back a step and actually just talk about all the different bits and bobs that I'm involved in musically. So that's it. This is the first mini podcast that I'm putting out. This is more of a giving you an update, and then I'll start kicking out proper stuff. If you're a fan of this sort of thing, please get in touch. You know, drop me a message. Get involved in the comment section. You know, like if there's anything you'd like me to be listening to and maybe review, hit me up. Would love to hear what you guys are up to and what you guys are listening to. If anybody fancies a chat, let me know and we'll set something up, and hopefully there'll be some good content there too. So good to be back in front of a camera talking to you guys, and looking forward to seeing where this goes. Take care of yourselves and each other.